Camden Catholic. How are y'all? This is our first flipped lesson for the year, and we're going to start off kind of with just a basic intro. This is a bricks and mortar of how we're going to study Western civilizations, and we're just going to discuss, basic timekeeping, why people do the things that they do, how history's been recorded for the last 5,000 years, and it's going to introduce us into where we're going, which is the Near Eastern empires and then the ones that follow. So remember, in this flip, you're more than welcome to pause it, stop it, mute it. I don't care. It's up to you. Just make sure you have the notes done by tomorrow in class. So let's go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, history is the study of past events. And now, again, this is something I asked in class. And yes, history makes you a better, more informed citizen. And these are the three reasons why we study history, really, as a society anyway. We do this to better understand people, cultures, places. We use it to answer the question of why. Why do they do what they do? Why do, for example, why do Middle Eastern countries keep different time? Something we went over in class today. So we use it to better understand. We use it to study change and why the current day exists the way that it does, kind of cause and effect relationships. And then we also do it to be a more informed citizen, both nationally and globally. It's good for you to know history. It's better for you. It makes you a better, more, more apt citizen in our society today. Now, when we study the past, we realize that recorded history began about 5,000 years ago with the invention of written records. Now, the time before that 5,000 years was called prehistory, all right? Now, we're not going to concern ourselves with that. We're not worried about it. We have no way to study it because we don't know what happened. Now, before written records, oral history was used. Now, oral is when you tell someone a story. When you tell, anybody what happened to you during the day. You'll use oral history when you go home this evening and tell your parents how weird Mr. Terry is, okay? So, now, oral history was used in stories, art, things like that, cave drawings. Why is oral history not as accurate as written records? Now, this is something that's not on the screen, but you need to write down anyway. Oral history can be changed. All right, oral history changed. Anybody ever play telephone when they were little? That game where you whisper something into somebody's ear, and then by the time it gets around the other end of the class, it's all messed up. Okay, so oral history is not accurate. That's why we don't use it anymore. So, early man, the earliest form of modern-day man was believed to originate from Africa. Now, these people are called hominids. Hominids, are people in general, are defined by their ability to manipulate and create technology. Now, technology is anything that you can give a purpose to. If I grab a stick and say that this is my stick for beating freshmen with, then that's now a new form of technology, okay? So, people of the Paleolithic, though, we separate history into two times, Paleolithic period, Neolithic period, all right? Now, the people of the Paleolithic range from 2 million BC to 10,000 BC. Now, Paleolithic, when you break it down into its basic word parts, stands for Old Stone Age, okay? So now these are the earliest forms of man. They didn't set up cities, they didn't set up villages, they didn't set up kingdoms because they were nomads. Nomads are people that survive by hunting and gathering food. They follow their prey and they follow their food source wherever it goes. So remember, Paleolithic people didn't settle, they followed their food wherever it went. They're nomadic people, okay? So remember, paleo means old and lithic means Stone Age, okay? Now, Paleolithic people, early humans, made tools out of stone, bone, wood. They also created fire for cooking, made clothes from animal skins. So, Paleolithic people also practiced primitive religion. Religion had its roots almost 2 million years ago. Now, is it Christianity? Of course not. But Paleolithic people practiced primitive religion. We know this because they buried their dead with great care. They also put very small items, jewelry that was handmade, hunting tools, things like that, inside the graves with them. That's how we know the Paleolithic people practice religion. So, also, there's going to be a massive turning point. The Neolithic agricultural revolution is going to happen. Prehistory and the Paleolithic era are going to end, which is going to start the Neolithic period. All right? Now, keep in mind that Neo means new. Now, here's the thing. What's the difference? What's the difference between Neolithic and Paleolithic? Why are Neolithic people more or less important? All right. So the question you got to understand is, what do you think early humans invented that sparked this Neolithic revolution or this Neolithic transition into the new period of time? The answer? is farming. It eliminated the need for hunting and gathering. People could now remain in one place throughout the year, all right? So this led to them creating, you need to write this down, this led to them creating surpluses, having enough food to last them throughout seasons so they could actually stop following prey and stop following around everything. Now, what skill do you think, now you could farm a lot, but as humans we need protein as well, we need to eat, right? What skill do you think gave people and early humans ample meat without hunting? The answer to that is the domestication of animals, domesticating animals. Early people domesticated animals so they could be best suited for human use, right? The Neolithic Revolution is also going to bring about the invention of villages, towns. These people are going to group together to survive, and a large group of people in one spot with a few buildings is called a village or a town. And this is where civilizations are going to really get kicked off. So villages are going to grow into cities and civilizations. Early civilizations were always settled near a major river or water source, okay? Now, when I say river, I mean Mesopotamia, Sumeria, Egypt, the Indus River people, early Mongolians, Chinese, all of these people settled near rivers for fresh water. Flood water would bring silt across the valleys, renewing the soil for farming. Now, here's the thing. The Greeks, which we're going to talk about soon, they didn't settle near a river, but we're going to talk about why later on. These conditions gave farmers the ability to grow surpluses that could be stored throughout the year. It's huge. It's so huge. Now, traits of a major civilization is what it says right here. As you can see, traits of a major civilization. Civilizations have a few specific traits. Number one, they have an organized government. They also have complex religions. They specialize in jobs. That's huge, okay? You start having artisans. You have blacksmiths. An artisan is a skilled craftsman. But these artisans are going to pick out certain things that they do well that are going to contribute back to their cities and their civilizations. So, for example, an artisan could be a blacksmith, a farrier, a farmer, a tanner, which is a person who makes leather, all right? So lots of different things. And then social classes. Actually, this is the weird thing, that major civilizations have social classes, but as historians, we still don't know why. We still don't, for some reason in our human nature, we separate ourselves into groups to be identifiable within them. Maybe it's because we're living in large numbers together. We're really not 100% positive. It's just a part of our makeup, our minds, our brain. That's what we want to do. So, what is the difference between East and West? Well, the boundary that separates the East and the West is not physical. It's cultural, all right? For example, Eastern cultures include Asia, which is a whole continent, I know. But still, China, Islamic-driven countries, parts of Africa, Israel, the Middle East. The entire Middle East is considered an Eastern culture. Western cultures, though, include Europe, North America, South America, even Australia, okay? So as you can tell, Australia is way over here underneath Asia. Asia's right there. There's Australia. And then all the way on the other side of the map is another Western culture. How does that make any sense? We're going to talk about why as time goes on, but it's mainly because early time recorders and early historians heavily believed in the cultural differences between this East and West. The Greeks thought they were as far west as they could be. They believed that they were in the western part of the map. They had no idea that the United States, the North America areas were even out there. We'll keep getting into that as we go. Now, this is it. That's your first flip. I will be checking these notes tomorrow. Remember to keep looking up on Edline to just kind of keep updated on everything. Make sure you get this done. I'll see y'all tomorrow.